The Quran was revealed over 23 years to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And a good number of those ayat, actually the vast majority of surahs, we're talking 80%, 90% of the surahs of the Quran were revealed in Mecca. And many of those are very small surahs, but some of them are of good length. Then we know in Medina, surahs of a larger, deeper context of building community and the depth of grappling with our place in the world outside of just our own spiritual journey. And so the ayahs from Mecca focused a lot on spiritual development. Who is God? Who am I? What am I doing here on this earth? Am I accountable? If so, how? What is the priorities of moral fortitude? Then when it came to Medina, it became, how do we build a community? What are some economic legislations? What are some familial legislations? What are some criminal codes to deal with people who are doing crimes? And what about international realities? What about more sophisticated things? Inheritance, the full legal system of a society. Now, Surah Al-Mu'minun is what we are listening to, correct? Or did I come with the wrong likeness? Okay, and so is that Makkiyah or Madaniyah? Only, no mashayikh can answer, okay. Everybody's like, I'm mashayikh, what are you talking about? I can't, of course I cannot answer, right, Mustafa? Makki or Madani, huh, sisters? Ijma'an Makkiyah. All scholars of Ulum al-Quran are in agreement that Surah Al-Mu'minun is Makkiyah. Okay, now, hold that one for a second. He starts out, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Success has been attained in the past tense for those who are engaged in faith conviction. الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. The single most important thing about them is that when they are praying their salah. Now at this time in Mecca, salah was not 5 times, correct? It was just in the morning and in the night, ala kayfik, as you like. Okay? And so whenever they are doing those salah, which there was no, jama'ah was very rare because people are against you in Mecca. So you have to pray secretly a lot. But when you're praying khushu', you're deeply present, heart and mind, you feel humbled and a sense of purification and spiritual connection in this intimate bonding. So those who have that salah like that, and then it says, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. Not يُعْطُونَ, فَاعِلُونَ. Those who are for the growth and development and purification, they are people who are doing that. Their relationship with growth and development and purification is their definition of being a person. Fa'il. That's who they are. Now, it says, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. Which of now, my new mashayikh, now that we've started learning Ulum al-Quran, can tell me, is this zakatul mal for sure? Is this the money you pay? Oh, who said no? Why? Because it has not been revealed yet, this legislation. Now here's the irony about this, and this you find it in many things. In Ibn Ashur, the great Shaykh al-Islam of Tunis, he made a big point in his tafsir, Tahrir al-Tanwir, that we talk about tafsir like it's some very sophisticated science, when it's really just people positing their ideas about what the Quran is, because we were all told some have more knowledge and more capability to do it effectively, and others not. Maybe some commoner saw something that the mashayikh did not see. And we've seen that. So because this point came up later, Imam Shawkani and others, they noticed this. Ibn Kathir says it. And so many of the scholars in the earlier generations, because Imam al-Tabari, who is the Imam Mufassirin, he comes in the 2nd, 3rd century. So they said this has to be zakat, because it came after what? Salah. But then people came later and said, but zakat as what you give out of your wealth has not been revealed yet. There is sadaqat, you give charity. And so what does this mean? Because in Arabic, if you want to follow the saj'a, which is the rhyming, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ يُعْطُونَ. It would fit. If it was, they give it, right? Right? Or atiyun. I'm not sure about the sarf on this one, it's been a while. But he says fa'ilun, that they do it. And so many scholars said it's the process of purification. Now I want to emphasize this a lot because I am myself on this journey, and as I have said 100 times, do not treat me like some holy man up here, priest or rabbi, because we don't have that concept. Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, when he was the Khalifa, when he was the Imam and the Amir al-Mu'mineen, on many occasions, he broke himself down in public to prove to people we don't have this system. I require your help. As the Prophet said, ad-din nasiha, he put a caveat, لِأَئِمَّةِ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. For the leaders, you must feel empowered to tell me, Imam, when you said that, that bothered me. Imam, when you did that, it felt unfair or something like that. We all have to feel that for each other, right? Because that's tazkiyah. That is the process of growth and development. If something is stagnant, if it's not growing, is that a good thing? We're saying, Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim many times a day, guide us to the straight path. Should it be that we grow and learn new things often and have new ideas about what Islam teaches and we change our opinions because we uncovered interpretations of other new scholars? Should we all be going through that? But do most of us do that? That's the point we're at. If we want success as believers, we have to break ourselves down. We have to say, you know what, I'm wrong about this. So there is muraqabatullah. This is the awareness, this vigilance, knowing that Allah sees us in every moment of every day. And so you're trying to think, you're trying to take that small fraction before saying or doing, is that pleasing to Him? Am I doing it for Him or me? Is this worldly interest or is this my hereafter I'm paying for with these words and actions? And then there's muhasaba. After I've done something, should I have done it that way? Is that the right way? Maybe I should do it differently. And then there's tawbah. I did it wrong. Ya Allah, forgive me. Brother, I said wrong to you. Please forgive me. Habibti, mine's not here, so I didn't. Like, who are you talking to? So, this is the way. The nawafil, right? ما زال العبد يتقرب إلي بالنوافل حتى أحبه, right? وإذا أحببته كنت سمعه الذي يسمع به, right? So the hadith says, in the hadith Qudsi, that Allah has declared that if someone chooses to go outside these obligations, which I have showed you parameters for your growth and development, for your purification from sin, I've given you these pillars, but if you go beyond that, and you add some extra prayers, some extra charity, some extra fasting, some extra umrah, if you do that, then you are showing me that you want a relationship with me, that you want me. And if you do that, then I will love you, and I will become the sight that you see with. I will become the hearing that you hear with. I will become the feet that you walk with. I will become the hand that you do whatever you do in your engagement of work with. And so the process of tazkiyah is breaking down the self so it can grow. Because the self wants to stay stuck, right? And it's like concrete. You have to break that concrete, melt it, and then you can build it up anew, higher and stronger. And you purify it from those things that make it weak and feeble. So we're all on this path. And if we do this the right way, success, eternity is guaranteed for us. And then we will be resurrected in the place of prophets and righteous and martyrs and all of the great people in history. And so we have to think in Ramadan, okay, after Ramadan, I'm going to pray every night. This is not a good path. The Prophet warned Shabab who came to him with this idea. He said, that's extreme. Many nights I don't pray all night. Many days I don't fast. I marry women. We don't have monasticism and being a monk. So there are worldly engagements. There is a balance. But we have to leave Ramadan having purified ourselves from certain stinginess and greed, right? وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْتُونَ مَا أَتَوْا وَقُلُوبُهُمْ وَجِلَةٌ أَنَّهُمْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ رَاجِعُونَ. I think the Shaykh about to read this one shortly. That we need to okay, it's Ramadan, we have this project, we're filling this place. Let's give out of our wealth and let's put a standard of sacrifice for the sake of Allah. After Ramadan, we're going to add some sunnahs. We're going to look into how can I be promoting the cause of believers in the world. We're going to hold our heads high. I'm not going to give up on this. Until we get back to izzah, to dignity and pride in our faith. Pride through Allah is there. إِنَّ الْعِزَّةَ لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا. What did Allah say to the munafiqeen? لا يعلمون أن العزة لله ولرسوله وللمؤمنين. That's pride and greatness because of Allah, through Him, knowing that. We have to come back to that. And that's the tazkiyah, where we get rid of those fears of non-believers, fears of worldly interest, fears of not fitting in where our money and educational system for our kids that we're worried about. We have to get rid of all that, purify ourselves from it. This is what they were doing, tazkiyah. So you purify, get rid of what's wrong, and then you build on what needs to be right. So let's all have a plan for this. We did, you should have, inshallah, we're having a plan each day. I was doing this, inshallah, checking the box. We made this thing, we spent hours on it, mashallah. So you have this way, the tracker, the Ramadan tracker. After Ramadan, keep yourself, okay, this month I'm working on this one deed. This month I'm sure I'm going to leave this type of behavior. I'm going to change my diet in this way. I will exercise in this way for the sake of Allah. And it all becomes worship. Last night, the kids looked at me very strange when I told them that I asked them, we talked about being an abd and how that is the most noble, honorable quality and title. And I said, you guys are doing a hackathon, learning how to use computer science. Is it that we're the cool mosque where now we don't have to do a bunch of religious stuff in Ramadan and we do hackathons? Or is a hackathon an act of worship in and of itself? Now I want you to think, if you were thinking what I just said sounds strange, a computer science hackathon where kids get on there and try to figure things out in the nighttime of Ramadan, is what if these guys aren't doing worship? What if their intention is to grow in my capacity to use this modern technology that basically regulates everything so that I can be a contributing member of society to use the gift Allah gave me? That's worship. But we have to train our kids to think in that comprehensive manner about life. So may Allah give us the purity and the growth in this month, and that we leave Ramadan a whole new people, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair.